Hello everyone, this is Nightwatch Nate of the Nightwatch Podcast. I just thought I'd pump out a quick audio podcast today while this story was still trending and the emotions were high. So in what appears to be a massive trolling effort, the political satire publication The Onion has just purchased the infamous Alex Jones INFOWAR studios, leaving a lot of people guessing out there just how this failing all but forgotten company, The Onion, could afford such a large purchase in the first place. And I just, as soon as I heard this news, I thought it was a joke, like one of these trolling satire publication headlines often put out by The Onion. But no, after watching a video from Alex Jones, he admitted just as much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:50 right now. I'm about to upload this to X. I just got word 15 minutes ago that my lawyers and folks met with the U.S. trustee over our bankruptcy this morning, and they said they're shutting us down even without a court order. This morning, the Connecticut Democrats with the Onion newspaper bought us. They asked, did they outbid? They said, well, it was competitive. So they changed all the bidding rules, made it secret 2 days ago. I had a bad feeling. I told you that.
So I thought to myself, isn't that just perfect, guys? Isn't that just perfect? Out of all the people who could have purchased Alex Jones's INFOWARS, happens to be a leftist publication, hell-bent on fueling more political division in this country. And by their own mission statement, they have plans to convert INFOWARS to a tool for mocking and ridiculing the dangerous lunatics on the right as they see them. And as I often like to ask, who benefits from all this? And true to form, Alex Jones is doing his best today to capitalize on all the attention by live streaming the event on X and, milking his newfound political martyrdom complex.
It's like Gladiator in the final scene where he's won all the fights, so they tie him up and stab him in the heart first, and then he stumbles out to fight and still wins. I mean, that's what this is. Massive, insane Streisand effect. Everybody watching on X right now, take that live feed and share it everywhere. Let's get 50 million on it. We can do it. I have all the video clips, the contracts, the documents I put on the website for decades that I don't own my show. The public owns it. It's a gift to the world, 100% beyond free to air. We're gonna expand. We're gonna have more reporters. We're gonna have more live shows. We're gonna have amazing, even bigger studios. We are gonna go into high gear in the new American Renaissance that's taking place. And the hunted, as Steve Bannon said, are becoming the hunters for justice. And we are taking action everywhere. So when you support the AlexJonesStore.com, that is so critical to keep this fight going, you're the missing link. You're the only variable. I know you're gonna come through, you already are. When you get t-shirts, great supplements, and so much more at the AlexJonesStore.com. When you become a VIP member, cancel any time, but $30 a month, you get $40 in the store each month. That's a great deal. Get special deals, special offers, sales on top of sales. It's all there at the AlexJonesStore.com.
A persecution complex, or a self-inflicted wound, as Alex Jones might call it, has repeatedly proven to be a pretty successful branding tactic, especially in today's political climate. I mean, it all works out so beautifully, in fact, that it makes you wonder if there wasn't some deal worked out behind the scenes. For those who have been paying close attention to Alex Jones over the years, it has grown increasingly obvious, to me anyway, that Alex Jones has kind of changed his tune over time, from back in the Bush days, around 9/11 when he was calling out the two-party paradigm, to fully jumping on board the Trump train and even inviting recycled deep state clowns like Nixon-era Roger Stone on his show as a guest host. And this tension between Alex Jones as the world's most popular conspiracy podcaster and his unwavering support for Donald Trump, even after Donald Trump's cabinet seems to be filled with nothing other than recycled Bush-era neocons and Zionists. All this tension has recently erupted online, you could say, with this clash of two conspiracy titans, as David Icke called out Alex Jones. Once again, naming names. He goes through the list of what he calls MAMs, or mainstream alternative media. Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Russell Brand, Brett Weinstein, Jimmy Dore, Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, Luke Rudkowski, and on it goes. The fake hijacked alternative media have Pied Pipered you into the lair of the global cult under the guise of Trump. I did warn you, but mega abuse was my reward. Kinda feel ya, David, I kinda feel ya. I've had similar experiences for calling out Trump with people who would otherwise be a friend, right? Then he goes on, maybe now people who bought the latest, most obvious and blatant lies will see that politics is not the answer. It's the problem, the diversion. So that must mean that answer is us then. When will the penny drop? And then Alex Jones answered with this, Trump is trying to end the Ukraine war. People are waking up to the globalists big time. I don't think Trump is my savior, but I will certainly take him over Kamala Harris, who got 95% of corporate donations. Like, that's the softest argument I've ever heard of, I think, from Jones. Well, he's better than Kamala Harris. I mean, if you tune into Jones for more than a couple of minutes, it's just like a constant worship fest of Trump. And Trump can do no wrong. The globalists, if you just do a quick scroll through Alex Jones's Twitter feed, parrots Elon Musk tweets constantly. The deep state, the government is shaking in fear. Yeah, it's just what I call a patriot hopium at its finest. And if you get lulled to sleep, like David Icke says, by these Pied Pipers, we're not going to have very vigilant patriots out there holding their government accountable, are we? If we think that everything's fine now, and our guy is in office, and he's got our best interest in mind, right? Yeah, Alex Jones continues, I don't mind if David disagrees with me on issues, but I've said and done what I believe is right for humanity. Team humanity, right? Yeah, with Elon Musk and his brain chips and robots and automated EVs and surrounding the Earth with a swarm of satellites like Skynet, a Terminator. I'm certainly not part of hijacked media as he claims. David has been invited on the show to give his perspective and so far refuses to come on. I am so excited to be working with RFK Jr. on making the world healthy again. I could go on, but a closed mind can only be opened from the inside. I will always love you, David. And again, David Icke and Alex Jones go way back. They're just like the old school conspiracy theorist. I guess, I don't know, maybe someday they'll be made saints in this new emerging doomsday cult everybody seems to be wrapped up in. And I thought this was a little bit interesting. If you scroll through the Wikipedia page on The Onion, just a few key points. And I didn't even realize The Onion was around for this long, but The Onion was founded as a weekly print newspaper for satirical news in 1988 in Madison, Wisconsin, by University of Wisconsin students Tim Keck and Christopher Johnson. So as I suspect, it's kind of a Facebook story, started out by college kids, later got big enough to get bought out by larger companies. Skip forward here to 2012 to the present, Chicago. With the publication's core editorial staff now based in Chicago, in March 2012, Cole Bolton, and listen to this guy's rap sheet here. A Brown University, is that a Jesuit college? Bitch, it is. Rhode Island. Let me check that real quick. In God we hope is the motto. These days they don't like to disclose whether or not they're actually Jesuit colleges for some strange reason, right? Let me look up real quick. Brown University. There you go. There's your sign, folks. Brown University's Jesuit ties. This is, again, right up the top of Google AI, basically. Brown University has a historical connection to the Jesuit order, although it is not a Jesuit institution today. Sure. Jerry Brown's own Jesuit background, Sacred Heart Novitiate. In 1958, Brown entered the Sacred Heart Novitiate, a Jesuit seminary intended to become a Catholic priest. However, he left the seminary after a year and attended the University of California, Berkeley. Jesuit principles. Brown has accredited the Jesuit founder, Ignatius Loyola, and his principles with shaping his worldview and approach to politics. He has also spoken about the importance of the human contract and relationships and education, reflecting the Jesuit emphasis on personal formation. You know who else is really into spiritual exercises or Ignatian spiritual formation? Alex Jones's boy, Steve Bannon.
So you've got 4 months you're facing. What do you plan to do with that time? Like, what are you going to read? What are you going to spend your time doing in prison?
Well, I have a pretty strict regimen as is, so I'll continue on. I do a lot of spiritual exercises following St. Ignatius Loyola, different spiritual exercises come out of the Catholic Church.
Just another one of those little quinkadinks, right? They play both sides, folks. They play both sides. And if anybody knows their history, Ignatius Loyola, founder of the Jesuits, and an arch enemy of all the biblical Protestant teachings, and therefore an enemy of America, which was founded by a majority population of Protestant Christians. Yeah, this guy has quite a rap sheet. In March 2012, Cole Bolton, a Brown University graduate of business economics, former associate economist at the Federal Reserve Bank in Chicago, and research associate at Harvard Business School, was named the new editor-in-chief of The Onion. So if you think these, cute little political satire publications are just, churned out by a bunch of goofy college kids, you might want to think again, because there are very intelligent people behind some of these publications, which are, again, hell-bent in sowing more strife and division amongst the American electorate. And I'll skip down. In August 2012, it was announced that a group of former The Onion writers had teamed up with Adult Swim to create comedy content on a website called ThingX. So again, Adult Swim is like basically cartoons for adults, even though kids watch them anyway, and they're some of the most nihilistic, South Park, right? Cartoons that just destroy the fabric, any kind of morality in children, and yet people allow their children to watch some of these cartoon networks designed to tear apart the fabric, the moral fabric of society. I'll skip back down. In January 2016, Univision Communications purchased a 40% stake in The Onion, Inc. And again, so Univision, is this huge Mexican-American media company headquartered in Miami, Mexico City, that owns American Spanish language broadcast network. Univision is a free-to-air channels, But it's one of these monopolistic media companies, and there's very few that control all the different media. And as it says on this wiki page on Univision, back in September 27, 2023, Univision co-hosted the second Republican primary debate alongside Fox News and Rumble. So they kind of go hand in glove, don't they? Entertainment, politics. Lately, this does seem to be the model of our political system, the entertainment industry, doesn't it? And in another case of WTF, what the hell is going on? Univision at the time, when it owned Onion, a leftist publication, it also had on November 7th, 2023, Televisa Univision CEO Wade Davis, as well as Televisa Union Mexico co-CEOs Bernardo Gomez Martinez and Alfonso I'm not going to pronounce that, met with former President Donald Trump at his residence in Mar-a-Lago. And on November 9th, the network aired a special hour-long exclusive interview with Trump. Due to a new unannounced policy prohibiting opposition advertising in a single candidate interviews, the network abruptly canceled President Joe Biden's campaign ads, which were set to air on network affiliates in Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Florida during the Trump interview. The network also canceled a scheduled response with Maca Casado, Biden's Hispanic media director, which was set to air after the Trump interview. In the days following the interview, Univision's most prominent news anchor, Leon Cruz, left the network after 13 years of working with him, prompting many to believe his departure was due to the way Univision handled the Trump interview. Washington Post reported that Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, helped arrange the event and was in the room with the Televisa Univision executive. Well-known Latino artist and activist like political commentator and co-host of The View, Ana Navarro, and comedian, actor, and host of The Daily Show, John Leguizamo, have been talking to social media to encourage people to boycott Univision due to the gracious tone of the interview, the softball questions asked during the interview, and the lack of follow-up questions, with some even calling Univision MAGAvision. So gee, I wonder why, 50% of Latinos voted for Trump this time. Might have had a little something to do with it, maybe? And skipping ahead once again, on April 25, 2024, CEO Jim Spanfeller told employees that GO had sold The Onion to Chicago firm global tetrahedron, which is owned by the Twilio founder Jeff Lawson, with former NBC reporter Ben Collins serving as CEO. The name Global Tetrahedron is taken from a fictional evil megacorporation that has been the subject of a running gag in the Onion articles. Because if you're a leftist, you don't believe in any conspiracy theories, right guys? It's a laughable concept to think of megacorporations conspiring against the masses, right guys? This is their level of humor. And if you consider the narrow-minded PC world that these people inhabit, man, they gotta be desperate for content, right guys? I mean, if you can't joke about anything, I guess at least in this case, you can joke about your enemies, right? There's no conspiracies in the world. These guys are crazy. They question things. They ask questions too much. They connect dots. And so if you were interested, I just thought I'd go over to the Onion website, and here is the article that they put out today after winning the auction. And of course, this is a spoof, and I struggle to really find any humor in their humor. Again, like, all these concepts are so basic to me. Yes, evil, powerful people conspire against the masses. Yes, they use corporations and shell companies to monopolize power. I mean, is this not common sense even on the left? I thought leftists were against all these fat cat capitalists, right? But yeah, bear with me as I read this. This is supposed to be funny. Here's why I decided to buy INFOWARS. And of course, this is Mr. Tetrahedron, or Tetrader, Global Tetrahedron CEO. I don't know what the running joke is on the tetrahedron. I don't even get that, but okay. Sounds scary, I guess. Today we celebrate a new addition to the Global Tetrahedron LLC family of brands. And let me say, I really do see it as a family. Much like family members, our brands are abstract modes of wealth, interchangeable assets for their patriarch to absorb and discard according to the opaque whims of the market. And just like family members, our brands regard one another with mutual suspicion and malice. I don't know, I guess this is a slap on capitalism, I guess. I don't really get the angle. But it's almost like a different language to me, but we'll go on. All told, the decision to acquire INFOWARS was an easy one for the Global Tetrahedron Executive Board. And again, you can just hear them rubbing this in and, poking and prodding at all their enemies on the right in these words. Founded in 1999 on the heels of the Satanic Panic and growing steadily ever since, INFOWARS has distinguished itself as an invaluable tool for brainwashing and controlling the masses. With a shrewd mix of delusional paranoia and dubious anti-aging nutrition hacks, they strive to make life both scarier and longer for everyone. Commendable goal. They are a true unicorn, capable of simultaneously inspiring public support for billionaires and stoking outrage at an inept federal state that can assassinate JFK but can't even put a man on the moon. Their run-on sentences are obnoxious, aren't they? And how is that even an oxymoron? I'm not sure how you can equivalate an assassination of a president with going to the moon back in the 60s. With the technology we had in the day, I mean, a gun shooting a guy's head off versus, what it takes to get to the moon. We're still struggling, right, Elon? Still struggling to get to the moon. But in any case, I guess I'm a flat earther too. Because I question some of the narrative presented to us all from our governments throughout history. Through it all, INFOWARS has shown an unswerving commitment to manufacturing anger and radicalizing the most vulnerable members of society. Values that resonate deeply with us all at Global Tetrahedron. I mean, that is, after all, what you plan on doing with the website now, right? Just continuing to manufacture anger and radicalize the most vulnerable members of society as you see them. Again, the hypocrisy of these people, I don't even think they know the definition of the word if you looked them in the face in the mirror. No price would be too high for such a cornucopia of malleable assets and minds. And yet, in a stroke of good fortune, a formidable special interest group has outwitted the hapless owner of INFOWARS, a forgettable man with an already forgotten name. Not really, because the more you attack your enemies, the stronger they get. You would think that all these leftist news agencies and left-wing publications would have realized this by now after 8 years total of attacking Donald Trump. That this concept of the enemy of your enemy is your friend, when people on the right don't trust the legacy leftist media to begin with, and when they see somebody being attacked and continually showered with free publicity in the process, they think of that person as their friend. like he's on their side, right? An outsider, as they painted Donald Trump. A persecuted martyr. And after all, everybody loves an underdog, right? And they love the Hollywood ending of a underdog overcoming all the difficulties thrown at him, all of life's challenges, all of the evil plots and assassination attempts, and ultimately winning back the White House. They go on to say, after they, just gave Alex Jones more credibility than he's ever had, and they forced him to sell it all at a steep bargain, no less than $1 trillion. Make no mistake, this is a coup for our company and a well-deserved victory for multinational elites the world over. And again, that's somehow a joke that there's multinational elites that are working against humanity for their own self-interest. I don't get these people's humor, but I guess this might be funny if you think that everything, every conspiracy is laughable in the world, and you live in this little bubble where everybody has good intentions, right? Yeah, like conspiracies like from here at the Justice Department, justice.gov, from multinational corporations like Pfizer, who had to settle the largest healthcare fraud settlement in history, agreeing to pay $2.3 billion for fraudulent marketing. Those kind of multinationals. What's next for INFOWARS remains a live issue. The excess funds initially allocated for the purchase will be reinvested in our philanthropic efforts that include business school scholarships for promising cult leaders, a charity that donates elections to at-risk third world dictators, and a new pro bono program pairing orphans with stable factory jobs at no cost to the factories. Yeah, we don't install dictators around the world, right guys? The CIA doesn't meddle in other people's elections, right? As for vitamins and supplements, we are halting their sale immediately. Utilitarian logic dictates that if we extend even one CEO's life for 10 minutes, diluting these miracle elixirs for public consumption is an unethical waste. Instead, we plan to collect the entire stock of INFOWAR's warehouse into a large vat and boil the contents down into a single candy bar-sized omnivitamin that one executive, I will not name names, may eat in order to increase his power and perhaps become immortal. Which pretty much all the elites are collectively working on, right? Life extension technology? That's another conspiracy theory, I'm sure, because these people don't know how to research or read anything outside of MSN and CNN, I guess. Again, I don't really get the humor, but okay. All will be revealed in due time. For now, let's just enjoy this win and toast to the continued consolidation of power and capital. Infinite growth forever. Bryce P. Titrador, Global Tetrahydron CEO. It's so stupid, man. Like, these guys don't even, it's like SNL, right? Saturday Night Live. The humor on the left is just, I don't even think they understand humor. They don't understand what comedy is anymore, because they're so afraid to offend anybody by saying anything. I mean, how can you have comedy in such a woke culture who are enemies to free speech, basically? And nobody should be bankrupted over free speech. We should be able to say anything we want to say. That's ultimately what free speech means. If it offends some people, then it's free speech. Free speech does not include only the things that make you feel good about what you hear from another person, right? Free speech is not encapsulated only in flattering words or things that make you feel good about what's being said. But I don't think any of this is really going to hurt Alex Jones in the slightest. In fact, it's going to make him all that much more popular and all that much more influential to people on the right. And again, as I said before, this just feeds into the two-party illusion, which is, in my opinion, toxic to the tree of liberty. The oligarchs, the elites who have captured our government, are more than happy to get us all infighting and pointing fingers at our neighbors rather than focusing in a true unified effort, right? The Unity Party, I thought it was called. We are strong when we are many. So by focusing all of our efforts against the true criminals in government, because they are, after all, serving the dragon, the fallen one, Satan. Ultimately, it's a spiritual battle. So don't get too wrapped up in fighting for this fallen world that you end up losing your eternal fate. So speaking of the InfoWar, let's see what the Bible has to say. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. And so you've got these leftists doing their damnedest to troll Alex Jones, and the alt-right as they see us. Then you have Alex Jones, who revels in trolling the left.
Boy, you know, this just broke a few minutes ago. They are going to be crapping lead bricks. I mean, he is smart and he is vicious and he is vindictive. And that's what we need. These people have been torturing the living hell out of this country.
It's almost as if the enemy tactics that Alex Jones studied for so long, namely the Hegelian dialectic, has just become a part of who he is now. Reminds me of that Friedrich Nietzsche quote. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into the abyss will gaze back into you. And so just want to leave you with some words from the Alex Jones before Alex Jones. Some of you may have heard of before, Bill Cooper. He actually predicted 9/11 before Alex Jones predicted 9/11, and he was one of these ahead of his times broadcasters. Conspiracy theorist, no doubt. But yeah, he ran his own radio talk show and kind of had an altercation with Alex Jones. And again, I'll leave you with what his words were and what his opinion was of Alex Jones. Unfortunately, he was killed when the police raided his home. So rest in peace, William Cooper. And I'll leave you with that. God bless.
Before we get started, I have to clear up a little discrepancy here. Apparently the other night, or within the last week, because I've been getting a lot of email about this, and I even received one telephone call. Apparently somebody called the Alex Jones broadcast and asked him why he didn't have me on the air, or asked him something about me. Alex Jones said he had me on the air once before, several years ago, and had to cut me off the air because of the foul language that I used. So on the air tonight, I'm going to tell you, Alex Jones, you are a bold-faced, miserable, stinking little coward liar. Now let me say that again so there's no mistake about it. You can all tell Alex Jones that I said this, and I suspect he's listening because he does. Alex Jones, you are a bold-faced, stinking, rotten little coward liar. I was only on the Alex Jones show one time. It was years ago, when I didn't know who he was, when I didn't realize what a liar and a coward and a sensationalist bullshit artist that he is. He was on one little FM station down in Texas. He wasn't on all the stuff that he's on now. And I agreed to be on his broadcast. That's when I was doing guest appearances on broadcasts, years ago. I was not cut off. I did not use any kind of foul language whatsoever. He treated me very well, and I stayed on for the whole show. Some of you in Texas know that that's true because you heard the broadcast and you taped it. Later, when I found out who Alex Jones was and what he was doing to the truth, and what a cowardly liar and sensationalist he really is, every time he called me after that, I have always refused to appear on his broadcast. Absolutely refused to lend him any credibility whatsoever by appearing on his broadcast. And that made him very angry. I've also revealed him for the lying sensationalist bullshit artist that he is by every once in a while bringing to your attention the lies and the deceit and the rumors that he spreads over the airwaves that are not good for any of us, and they're not good for the nation. They are especially not good for militia and patriots. The most disgusting broadcast he ever did was on New Year's Eve, the year 2000, the New Year's Eve, 1999, bringing in the year 2000, in which he went completely out of his mind and claimed that Russia had launched intercontinental ballistic missiles with multiple warheads at the United States of America, and actually panicked millions of people who were putting their children and their belongings in their cars and heading for the hills. Now, there's lots of things that can be said about me. Nobody needs to lie about me. Sometimes I am irritating. Sometimes I absolutely will not suffer fools, and am just as rude as I can be. Nobody has to lie about me, Alex Jones. So I suggest that the next time somebody calls your broadcast and asks them about me, you tell the truth. There's lots of truth that you can tell about me. But don't ever lie on me, buddy, because I'll chop you off at your ankles. I will chew you up. I will spit you out for the lying, stinking, rotten little coward that you are. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all I have to say about Mr. Sensationalist, lying, rumor-mongering, bullshit artist, Alex Jones. All of these people ought to know better than to mess with me, because I don't take any crap from anybody. And if I'm not afraid of the whole machinations of the entire government Gestapo, what in the hell makes Alex Jones think that I would ever be afraid of his cowardly little rotten butt? Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Cooper.
Hi.
Listen, that Alex Jones interview was directly after you published the Veritas June 26, 1998 issue about the Cooper family being targeted by the feds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah,
and
back in 1990. So did he kick me off the air?
No, he's a liar, and you've pointed it out, and I heard that interview, and you were nothing but cordial.
Yeah, well, that's the truth.
That's the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia.
Bye-bye.
Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to let you know I verify what you said about that Alex Jones interview. They had it archived on the internet at one time, and I did hear that interview, and there was nothing wrong with what you did.
And I wasn't thrown off the air, was I?
Not a bit.
No.